I have to say, when I was approached by Disney to make this film, it was daunting, to say the least, because I love the original so much. But I did feel that I wanted to make sure it was treated with great care if they were to do a sequel. And you know, there are 8 books. They're very episodic, the books. I mean, there's not a lot of narrative to them, a lot of story. They're very, you know, there's a lot of adventures, but there's a lot of material. And so it made sense to do another film. So I understood why Disney wanted to. And so when they brought it to me, I was incredibly excited, but also very nervous about it too, because I really wanted to make sure that it was handled with great respect and care and love and the passion I have for the original film. And I wanted to translate that into the next chapter. This is a very fragile time in the world. And so that we can find that light with a family that's struggling to deal with a loss, but also deal with the Depression era. And how do you find joy in that kind of world? Well, you need a Mary Poppins to come to help guide you. And the best thing about the character of Mary Poppins is that she does this, but without sort of doing it obviously. You know, she denies having any part of any of the adventures, but she has a master plan that takes us through the whole journey. She's incredibly deep as a person, but also as an actor. She finds the layers of a character. And at the same time, there's a warmth, because underneath this very stern and strict nanny is there's a warm person who wants this family to heal, although she denies it. It's a great character to play because of that. She denies ever having a part of those adventures, but deep inside she loves those adventures. She's a child herself, and she knows how important that is, to feel. And she was the only choice for me. There was no other choice. And when she came out of the sky, you know, on location, there are no nets, there's nothing. She's up there on very, very high wires. She was quite nervous and scared, and we were too. But I kept saying to her, you're not coming in, Mary Poppins is coming in. She goes, oh, well, that's a lot of help. But I think actually it did help her, because I think she thought, well, the character's coming in, and I have to play that this is just every day. And my favorite thing about her first few lines in the film is that she launches in like she's mid-conversation with the kids. Georgie this, and Annabelle this, and John that, and she's talking to them, and she's moving so fast like a hurricane has arrived. And the kids can't understand, how does she know her name? And, you know, but she just takes over. And I feel that Emily Blunt herself takes over the film. The great thing about Lin-Manuel, who is an extraordinary person, an extraordinary artist in so many ways, is that I knew immediately that he was the perfect person for this role. Because to find someone who can bring, in a very pure, honest way, a sense of magic to something. And he has there's a natural joie de vivre that he has, that he just brings to everything, and an optimism. This is who he is, personally. And, you know, having worked with him, it's so real, it's so true, it's just who he is. He approaches life like that, there's no fear. And he's so clear and so forthright, but he also has there's a light in his eyes, there's a magic. And I just knew we could capture that in this character. The movie is filled with the most extraordinary actors. Meryl Streep is my favorite actor of all time. I'm so lucky to have worked with her twice. She wanted to be a part of this. She told me, she said, I feel this film is a gift to the world. Every single first choice, you know, said yes to this film. And I think everybody wanted to be part of it. I think we all have lived with that original film so deeply in our hearts for so many years. So for us to be audacious enough to do a sequel to it, we all knew the bar was so high. So we wanted to make sure that we were working together, all of us, and not just myself, but our entire team, and all the actors knew that we had to reach as high as we possibly could to, I guess, in a way, honor the original film and make it worth people coming to see this sequel. What's interesting about the production design, I made a decision early on that I really wanted to bring reality to the film, so that in juxtaposition with these great fantasies, there would be two worlds. And so I asked my production designer, John Meyer, to help me with this vision and help me find a way to use England and London in real places and real streets and bridges and everything, you know, the real St. Paul's, so that we could feel that we're actually in a real place. And when we launched into the animation world, which was maybe the most challenging thing I've ever done, to work with animators to create this live action animation sequence, which is all hand drawn. It's very important to me to work from the 2D animation that we all know and love from the classic Disney films. Very important to me. In fact, I thought if we had used modern animation, it wouldn't feel the same. I was really trying to protect what's in the DNA of what I feel is the Mary Poppins legacy. And so I knew that I wanted a 2D sequence with live actors, of course. And that was such a challenge. I mean, maybe one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. So coordinating this big musical number was challenging, but what I love. Rarely do you get a chance to do a big choreographed number on this scale with this many people, with dancers, stuntmen, principals, actors, of course, and children. It's a lot of moving parts, and it's a big challenge. But it took a long time to rehearse, very complicated. Everybody's doing something different, but and it took a while to film too, of course. We're trying to capture so much, and Lin-Manuel working so hard, like incredibly hard on his dance work, Emily working on her dance work. It was one of those things that, when you all pull together and you start to work on a big number like that, it's thrilling for everyone, because it's the big sort of centerpiece choreographed number in the film. And with a great song, that it feels like a dance. It has dance music in it. And so I loved working on that piece. This was, like I said, the most personal film I've ever done, the most challenging film I've ever done, because it's original, because the bar was so high and we were reaching so high. And we wanted to honor, like I said, the original film, but really create something original on our own. So the fact that I was able to touch that original film, be part of the legacy of that film, is practically perfect for me, because it's a childhood dream come full circle. Something that means so much to me deeply. It's a movie that I would go back to all the time, just to lift my spirit, to remind me of joy in the world. And I hope that this film can do that for people today.